Out with the lightning cable and in with the Type-C. You know what has happened? The iPhone 15 series has launched. The iPhone 15, the 15 Plus, the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max. While I'm shooting from the studio here in Pune, Arun is at Cupertino and he's had a chance to look at the phone. But there are a lot of upgrades that we're going to be talking about in this first look video of the phone. If you're here for the very first time, I'm Ershad. You're watching Trakin Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. Now, since we started talking about the Type-C support on these phones, here's a fun fact. The very first time Apple actually introduced the Lightning port was also on September 12. Anyway, the USB Type-C support, as we suspected, the Pro series, the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, are actually getting USB Type-C 3.0 speeds, whereas the base 15 and the 15 Plus are only getting Type-C 2.0 speeds. Also, one more thing that we were all expecting is faster charging speeds, but as far as we can tell from the website at least, it's that the iPhone 15 series, including the Pro, will only get 20 watt and 27 watt charging. Alright, with the Type-C port and the charging speeds out of the way, let's start talking about the vanilla iPhone 15. And the 15 and the 15 Plus have gotten major upgrades in the display. So like we expected, the dynamic island has now come to the 15 and the 15 Plus, which was first introduced with the 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max. And the bezels, or like Apple likes to call it, the border is slimmer now. And in real life, it actually does make a huge difference when we took a look at the phones. There is a lot of screen estate on offer. Also, the display now has ceramic shield protection, and the peak brightness is 2000 nits when you take it outdoors. So of course, the peak brightness has also been bumped up, but when you're watching HDR content, it's still 1600 nits. So as you're all aware of it already, the 15 and the 15 Plus come in 6.1 inch and 6.7 inch sizes. Also, the iPhone 15 series is available in 5 different colors: black, green, pink, yellow, and blue. But the interesting thing that Apple mentioned about this glass itself is that it's going to be frosted glass this time, and it's a color infused sort of material. So the camera ring and the back glass, all of that fused together. It's actually, better feeling in the hand in real life. It's slightly muted colors, but it does look good. Now, with respect to the internal specs, it has been bumped to A16 Bionic now, and you get 3 storage variants: 128GB, 256GB, and 512GB. And the starting price in India continues to be the same. It's 79,900 for the base iPhone 15 and 89,900 for the base iPhone 15 Plus. By the way, if you are hoping that the iPhone 15 series will get ProMotion 120Hz, that's not happening. It's still 60 Hz. But the most exciting change on the iPhone 15 series, if you ask me, apart from the displays of course, is the camera setup. So now you've got a 48 megapixel primary camera, and Apple says that it does 2-in-1 pixel binning to take 24 megapixel samples with lot more details. And the interesting thing is you get 2x nearly optical zoom. Of course, it's not proper optical, but 2x nearly optical zoom with in-sensor crop of 4:1 pixel binning, and you can get 12 MP resolution outputs as well. The images that Apple at least showed were really good. Of course, there's 4K 60 FPS HDR video recording available. There's action mode. All of that is present as well. And of course, the 0.5x ultra wide angle camera continues to exist. But the one camera feature that Apple has upgraded, and that will make a lot of sense for us, is the portrait mode. So now the portrait mode will automatically detect if there is a subject on screen. Say for example, you're shooting your friends or family, or even if you're shooting cats or dogs, the camera can detect it and immediately switch to portrait mode. And that apart, you can also change the focus pre or post shooting the image, which I felt was really cool. The rest of the features, IP68 continues to exist. MagSafe is also there. By the way, I did tell you guys about the Type-C support. The Type-C support has now been extended to AirPods Pro 2nd Gen as well. So basically the AirPods, the MacBook, the Macs, the iPhones, the iPads, all of them are now on Type-C. With this Type-C cable, Apple is also enabling reverse wired charging support as well. So you can charge your AirPods with your iPhone. Now, one useful hardware upgrade is also that Apple has introduced the 2nd Gen ultra-wideband chip. But one feature associated, or the new feature that Apple has introduced, will be specific for American users in my opinion. And that is roadside assistance feature now being enabled with the satellite support. And this, apparently Apple is working with the biggest roadside assistance company in the US. And this is a feature that I think a lot of users will find it useful in daily usage for sure. Another feature that Apple mentioned at the event, but of course we've not been able to test it yet, we are waiting for the phones to test it out, is the voice isolation feature when you're making calls. So if you are in a very crowded area and there's a lot of environmental noise, it will isolate the voice and make it sound clearer to you. So this is about the iPhone 15 series, the 15 and the 15 Plus. But the Pros are looking incredible. They are proper proper pro phones. It's not like a Redmi Note 12 Pro calling itself a pro. When iPhone is a pro, it's actually a pro. So why do I say that? First things first, you've got a titanium build now. Of course, the colors look very drab and boring, at least in the renders, but when we saw it in real life and held it in our hand, the feeling was quite something else because the phone is slimmer and it's also lighter now. And that difference in weight is immediately apparent to anyone who's used the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Stainless steel versus titanium, titanium is much lighter. But the most important change on the iPhone 15 Pro series is on the inside with the new A17 Pro chip. So first things first, with this A17 chip, you get support for USB 3, so faster data transfers will be possible on the iPhone 15 Pro series compared to the base 15 and the 15 Plus. And apart from that, there is proper AV1 decoding within the chip itself, which is fantastic. But more importantly, with the A17 Pro, gaming is going to go to a whole another dimension. This reminded me of when the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 was announced, and there was a big talk about ray tracing feature being introduced in games, and all we saw was a demo. And after that, I haven't seen a single ray traced game on my Android phone yet. But on the iPhone, when Apple announced ray tracing, it said it's hardware-enabled ray tracing, and it's apparently going to be the industry's best, fastest ray tracing support yet. And more importantly, the games that they showcased blew my mind. So there's Division Resurgence, Resident Evil 4's remake, Resident Evil Village, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. All of these are console quality games, not console quality games, actually console games running right on your iPhone screen. And of course, quite a few of these games do not have ray tracing on consoles or even on PC, but for phones, they will have ray tracing with the A17 Pro chip. And also, this is the first chip to use the 3nm fabrication process. Of course, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 might also come with that. But yeah, this is looking very good. I really want to see where Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 goes, in comparison to the A17 Pro. Now that was of course the performance, but there is one very important change with the design. This is something that has been leaked already, and that is the fact that the Pros actually get a programmable action button now. Remember last year they introduced the dynamic island, so this year they've introduced the action button, so the mute switch has gone, and I think they will do that with the iPhone 16 base variants next year with the action button. Now this action button, you can use it as a mute switch if you want to, if that's what you like to do, but you can also program it to run shortcuts as well, like everybody was expecting. This is a feature that I'm really going to test out and see if it's actually going to be useful in everyday usage. Okay, now let's talk about the cameras. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is getting longer zoom range because there is more space inside, is what Apple says. So you get 5x telephoto. Apple is not calling it periscope, but it's a 5x telephoto now. And whereas on the iPhone 15 Pro, you still get a 3x telephoto. The primary 48MP sensor has also been upgraded. The low light performance especially looks absolutely fantastic. Oh, by the way, this time around on the camera lens ring, Apple has added an anti-reflection coating like the T-Star coating that we get with Vivo's phones. So I genuinely hope the reflections and the refractions are reduced by a huge amount. I really want to test that out. But more importantly, I hope that Apple has improved the HDR performance as well. We'll have to wait and watch. Another thing about the Pro Max that Apple specifically mentioned is that improved sensor shift stabilization as well. So it will support more access so that it can ensure that every time you're zooming in, it doesn't move around too much. Again, we have to test it out in action. Now the biggest question is, will the Pro Max's 5x zoom camera match the performance or beat the performance of the S23 Ultra? We'll have to wait and watch. Now the other thing is, with the A17 Pro chip, the 15 Pro and the Pro Max can actually record 4K 60fps ProRes videos as well, and spatial video too. So this spatial video will matter a lot, I think, when the Apple Vision Pro comes out, and you can actually record videos with the phone itself and then push it to the Vision Pro. Will be interesting to see. Now let's talk about the prices. In the US, the prices are fine. For the iPhone 15 Pro, it's $999. It stays the same, with the base variant being 128GB. But the base variant of the 15 Pro Max has been bumped to 256GB, and the price has been bumped slightly to $1,199, which is okay. But in India, the prices are absolutely nuts. You know what the price of the iPhone 15 Pro is? 1,34,990. And for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, 256GB variant is 1,59,990. That's basically 1,60,000. the price of a 125cc bike in India. And if you actually want to buy these phones, it'll of course be cheaper in other countries like Dubai or Hong Kong. So if you can get somebody to import it for you, you'll save a hell of a lot of money. What we notice is that you will save at least 40,000 rupees on the Pro Max if you buy it from Dubai compared to India. Now, with respect to the battery performance, Apple hasn't mentioned that if there are improvements on the 15, the 15 Plus, the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max. I think they're going to be very similar in battery life to the 14 Pro series and the 14 series, but I hope that's not really the case because the 14 series, especially the 14 Pro and the Pro Max, didn't have good battery life. I hope the battery life is slightly better on the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max because it's a die shrink and the power efficiency should ideally be better. Let's see how that goes. Apart from that, they also launched the Watch Series 9, the Watch SE and the Watch Ultra 2. I will talk about these in detail later when we get the devices in our hand. And the main story about these watches are that, Apple for the first time has made carbon neutral products. This is the first carbon neutral product that they've ever made, especially with the Watch Series 9 and the Watch Ultra 2. So that's it for the iPhone 15 series. I can't wait to test them out, get them in my hands, test them out and let you guys know whether it's worth the money or not. But with the Pro series, it's just very, very expensive in India this time around. What do you guys think of the price bump? Let me know in the comments below. Also, in general, what do you guys think of the iPhone 15 series? I'd love to know that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.